Automation. So like if I want to ask you a question that from how many years back you have been using listening this word automation, you will be saying that around 10 years or 5 years, because I got these type of questions from the students usually, even from the participants, because they haven't listened this word like long back. They have been listening since from 5 years to 10 years back, but the automation exists almost from 100 years back. It was automation is exist in our life. Okay, so but the real automation with the controllers, it was started in 1975. That was a long story, you can go with the Wikipedia, but the thing is we are talking about. So automation basically a delegation of human control function to the control technical equipment. It is such a simple that whatever the work we are doing, we are assigning that work to the technical equipment. Suppose I will take a door. So generally what we will do, we will open the door. Instead of that, we will give a automated machine there. What it will happen, automatically the door will open. So in like there are a lot of examples for that. Okay, so if you go for the industry, whatever they were manufacturing, when they were manufacturing automobiles, the example, if they're manufacturing with the cars, what they will do, humans will be assembling total parts. They'll be welding the each and every part. Okay, they will be repeating, they will be doing all the stuff, I mean assembling stuff, and they will make a product. Now all these things was done by some technical equipment, okay, that is controlled by automated way. So it's simple that instead of doing by human, we are assigning that work to the machine. Okay, because of this, what happens? Like we will reduce our human effect, because need not use that instead of a like human, we are using a machine. So at that place, we need not to use a human, right? We already reduced the human. So like a lot of people have a doubts that it will reduce the jobs. No, it will reduce the jobs of unskilled labor, not the skilled labor. Skilled means the people who has a technical knowledge. Suppose if that we are using a machine, that whenever the machine gets a problem, definitely we require a human. So there we have a job, but the job is for skilled one. Okay, so technical equipment is nothing but electrical, electronic, or mechanical controlling units. So it may be electrical units like motors, electronic units, some the controller boards which are doing sensors, these things. So mechanical mean the conveyor belts or valves, pneumatic valves, these things. So equipment may be anything, but when it was controlled automatically, that is nothing but automation. So different kinds of automations are there. Like okay, I am showing you only the few of them, which are rarely and right now, which is high in the market. We are talking about that. First one is industrial automation. Okay, so this is completely related to the industry. I'm in manufacturing sector and maybe a process industry. So it may be digital industry, whatever it may be. It was completely we are talking about industry side. So building automation. This is completely about the home automation. Okay, and building automation, like suppose if there is a lift, elevator, suppose I want to make some automation like home automation, I want to control all the appliances with the mobile, anywhere in the place or anywhere in the world, I want to control my all home appliances. This is nothing but a building automation. Okay, if suppose somewhere there is a fire extinguisher is happen, like there is a fire accident, so automatically, so fire extinguisher will be on and automatically it will correction the problems. So these things will be done in the building automation. Next one is called transport automation. Example, we can check the trains. So we are tracking the trains where it is and everything. So based on that, they were navigating that which train has to be go on this on the track initially. So in the same way, when you go for the so recently this Tesla has been done in the same way. So by using the Google Maps, automatically the cars will be traveling from one place to another place, right? You can select the destination, the car will be moving. So it was there in a lot of countries like Boston and these things. That is nothing but a transport automation. So completely you can monitor this transport example, where is the flight, like airplane, whatever it may be. So what is the position, what is its temperature inside, and what are the problems, is there any problems inside, such things we can monitor and modify those things, nothing but transport automation. So next one is called space automation. Like as we can talk about this aerospace industries. Moreover, when you're launching the rockets, they were tracking the where is the rocket, what is the position of the rocket, what is the temperature of the inside the rocket, and what is the latitude and longitude. Everything we are checking from a remote area, and we are not only checking, we are controlling if it is possible. All the stuff what we are doing in here is called space automation. But currently we are talking only about the industrial automation. There is automation in all the areas. It's not a single part, but we are completely concentrating on only on the industrial automation. So when you come to the picture, industrial automation, so usually initially in the industry humans are there, because humans used to control it. Example, let us say a small example. There is a drinks manufacturing company, assume. So initially a bottle should be coming on the conveyor belt, and after that the bottle should be cleaned, after that bottle should be filled, after that bottle should be capped, and after that it should be labeled, then it should be stored. So there are different steps. So initially when there is no automation, what the humans used to do, initially 2-3 persons will be sitting on the first area, they will be cleaning the bottles. Then after that they will be moving these bottles to the next place where they will fill the bottle. They will fill the bottle with the liquid at exactly accurate position. Example, it was 700 ml, assume. So they were filling with that point. That was done by the human. Once it is done, what they will do, they will move that bottle to the next area where they will be capping. That was done by the few of them, few of the humans. Capping was done by. Then after that, what they used to go for the next position. They used to label. They will used to stick the label on the bottle. Then they will send back to the next area. There will be packing and storing. So each and every area there are few humans used to do the task. But what happened after that? Now after that what they done is they started use semi-automated. I mean humans will be there, machines will be there. So how the humans will be there? Example, initially bottles will come. So initially before that humans used to clean it. Now what they will, you'll have a machine of air pressure. So some human will press the air pressure. What happens? Air will enter inside the bottle, or like whatever the dust is there, it will come outside. The bottle is cleaned. Now it will move to the next area where they will have a tank, okay, and a valve. A human will open the valve, the liquid fall down. Again they will move to the next station. There will be capping. You will have a capping machine. They will switch on the cap machine, that it will cap it. So semi-automated. Humans are there, machines are there. That is the next stage. Now what will happen? Everything is automated. A human will be giving a start command. Bottle will be coming automatically. It will be filled automatically. It will be capped automatically. Labeling is done automated. And packing and storing, each and everything is done by the automated way. Only the here human will be monitoring. If something else, some problem comes into the picture, then the human will come. Until unless that machine will take a total till the product is in the raw to product is in the raw material to the completely if it is done. Okay, so when you come to the picture, if you see here, manually the human will control the process. Example, huge manpower impact on manufacturing process. So what happens? So you'll have a more humans are required when there is no automated, okay, when there is no machinery, so more humans are there, okay. So when there is more humans, I have to pay more money. So that's a high manufacturing cost, because wages is nothing but salary. I have to pay more salary for the humans. High human errors. Definitely you will have human errors. Example, every day one person is doing some work. Definitely you will be missing that accuracy. Example, you need not to. Example, he has to fill the bottle for 700 ml. He may not do that properly. He may miss the accuracy when you are working with the human errors. So in the same thing in the labeling, so you cannot exactly label at same position. It may go top or bottom. So as per your example, I just giving you that information. So you will miss the accuracy and even to the quality. When there is no accuracy, automatically there will be no quality. If you give, suppose the customer required 700 ml drink, so if you are giving 650 ml, definitely it is you are missing with the quality. So plant all overall efficiency. So efficiency will be automatically will be dropped when you are completely working with the humans. High manufacturing timing process, less productivity. So when you are dealing with the humans, it takes more time, because it should be run from one hand to another hand. So definitely a human hand doesn't have that much speed coming to, comparing to the machines. We'll be working with milliseconds or second speeds like our whatever the work we are doing it, but machines will be doing in microseconds and nanoseconds. So we have less productivity, less human safety, like there is no safety at all. So example, when the bottle is cleaning, it may break. When it is capping, it may affect, the capping may not done properly, it may affect to the human. So I just told you one example about drinks, but wherever you see at the time, so when humans are dealing with the automobile industry, same thing will be happen. Or if he was dealing with the power plant, same thing will be happen. Suppose he was working in the oil and gas factory, same thing will be happening. So that's why what I've done, they want to reduce the human errors and accuracy. They want to increase the accuracy and quality. So that's why they started the automation. Okay. So what is industrial automation? You will see that.
Since the inception of manufacturing, factory owners have looked for ways to increase productivity and lower cost. This resulted in many of said factory owners looking to automation to help their bottom line. So what is automation? According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, automation is the automatically controlled operation of an apparatus, process, or system by mechanical or electronic devices that take the place of human labor. What does that really mean? If you walk inside a modern manufacturing plant, you might see something like this. Robots and other automated machinery that can run typically without the need for human involvement. Automation results in better efficiency. Let's face it, humans make mistakes, and they're not always very consistent. Automation practically eliminates error, increases productivity, and allows for better monitoring and control of the manufacturing process. Automation also allows for a certain task to be replicated over and over again. But automation manufacturing isn't just more efficient, it's also smarter. Data is generated throughout the process and is used by various elements along the line to better control workflow. Connecting the line through a supervisory control and data acquisition, or SCADA, system allows the entire team to gain insight to what is going on during the manufacturing process and notifies employees of any potential problems that are happening on the line. Robotic automation started showing up in factories in the 1970s, and as time has passed, the technology has become even more sophisticated. As it advances even further, it is not outside the realm of possibility that
So like that is about, as I told you, same thing it was in the video. But now we'll take example of some process industry, and here we will be seeing each and everything in with detail. Example, this is like they were preparing a jam, and they were filling in the bottle, they were capping, and they were storing. That's what happening in the picture, right? So when you come to this picture, so initially what happens, you will have the raw strawberries. Okay. So raw strawberries are coming, right? What they were doing, they were be cleaning here, right? So after cleaning, they were sending to the process. So they were mixing it and they were crushing and they were making into a jar. So now one of it is placing the empty jars and is filled with the empty jars here. Once it is done, now it will going for labeling. It was labeling with the name jam, then and labeling also, capping also done in this particular area. Now it is coming back and it was storing this. This like there is some process happening here. So when you go for this, what is the raw material? Generally what we have is, initially we have a pump, sensor and valve. So what is a pump will be do? So you can see the pumps, right? This is a pump. So what is the pump is doing? Like it was sending After crushing it, it was sending into the tank. Now in the level, what is the level sensors? The level sensors in the tank, it was sensing the level of a tank, whether it is low or it is high. If it is low, it will fill the tank. If it is high, so then it will allow to do the task. Next, control valve. Generally, what this control valve will do, it will open and flow this pipe. I mean, it allows the germs to fall inside the tank, or it will stop in the before entering into the tank. That's what control valve is doing. Next, we have conveyor belts. So we have a conveyor belts 1, 2, 3, 4. So those will be working with motor. So whenever you switch on the motor, these conveyor belts will move. At different speeds you can run with that. Okay. And we have a proximity sensor. Why? Because so on both the ends of conveyor belts will have a sensor. Then only it will detect whether their object is moving from the conveyor belt to the next place or not. That's what happening in the conveyor belt. Next one is, so I think you have seen all the things, like conveyor belt, pump, valves, all the things and sensors. Next, which we are not able to see, is control panel. That is nothing but this. You can see some screen, some readings are there. This is called control panel. So in this control panel, what we'll have? We'll have a PLC, programmable logic controller. What this PLC will do? As I told you, there is a proximity sensor here. Whenever proximity sensor is on, it will switch on the conveyor belt. Now like these strawberries will move to the next area. So when here there will be one more sensor. Whenever whenever object comes, the sensor will on. So then what happens? You will get the water. So valve will on, water will fall. Then it will be cleaned. So whenever like it comes to this area, so all it was end of the conveyor belt. So next conveyor belt will on and it will move. So that is the process, right? This is done working with the PLC. PLC will get a command from the sensor. In the PLC we'll have a program. From the PLC again the output will go to the motor to switch on. It will switch on. Again wherever the sensor is there, I will get a command to the PLC. Again the PLC will give a command to the motor or to the valve. So it's like a CPU. It was controlling. It was taking the inputs and whatever the logic is we have written in the program, it was executing, and finally it was giving to the outputs to switch on or to switch off, automated way. So that is done by the PLC, which is inside this panel. Next one is HMI. You can see this screen, right, and some buttons. This is called HMI. I mean, you can start and you can stop. Doesn't require any buttons. Okay, you can start and stop the all the things from the HMI. Not only that, you can see how many bottles till now is packed. Those things you can see in the HMI itself. You can see the count. You can see whether the labeling is going or not. If you can see wherever the machine is stopped. For example, somewhere the conveyor belt has been stopped. You can see that message in the HMI. Conveyor belt 2 has been stopped. Now if you want, you can give that command from this HMI also. If you want to switch on that, you can also give a command from here. So that is called human machine interface. It was interfacing human and machine. Okay, that is the best example for you is like ATM. Whenever you go for ATM machine, okay, you have a screen that will give you like press here, like press the password. That is interfacing human and the machine, which is making you very simple. HMI is also in the same way, but still in this HMI will give you more number of alarms, messages. Suppose level has been increased. Suppose, as I told you, there is a level sensor in the tank. Suppose level has been decreased, it will give you alarm low. If the level has been, if the level has increased and you got a high sensor is on, then you will get a alarm high. You can keep the different messages and alarms and you control operations in the HMI. Next one is drive. What is the drive? It's nothing but, as I told you, there is a motor here. Okay. You just imagine when there is only one strawberry, like how much speed the conveyor belt should run. If there are thousands of strawberries on the conveyor belt, how much speed it has to run. So conveyor belt doesn't know, right? How many strawberries are on its top of it. So automatically, how the speed it will be arranging into exactly in the same. Example, if the conveyor belt is running at 100 RPM, if strawberries are coming or not coming, I mean if it is more than 100 or less than 10, It doesn't care, it will run with the same speed. Such things you can manage only with this drive. So there are 4 conveyor belts. I mean there are four motors are there, 4 drives are there. Next one is display units. So you can see the display, how much power, okay, how much power it is consuming, all the information, present current and present what is voltage reading, each and everything you can see this. So that is called low voltage switchgear. Inside you will have a switchgear. Switchgears are nothing but simple. See, whenever you enter into the room, so in the meter before to the meter and next to the meter, I mean I'm talking about the power meter which is supplied by the by the government, like substation engineers, right? You will have an energy meter there, right? Below to the energy meter you will have a small panel. So in the panel you will have some MCBs, miniature circuit breakers. So those are, whenever you switch on the circuit breaker, you will get power to your respective room or respective product. You will get the power supply. That is nothing but switch gear. That is a switch, and whatever all the things are there. So low voltage switchgear, which we are dealing with less than 230 volts, we are talking about low voltage switchgear. Such things will be there inside. Why? Because we should give power supply to the HMI. We should give power supply to the PLC. We should give power supply to the drive. So each and everything should be connected with some cables and some protection. Switch gears, nothing but MCBs. So everything will be inside. This is one of the example I told you. So when I have taken one process industry, these many components are dealing. These are the main component, but still there are a lot of components. Even these tanks, pipes, all are designed with the CAD mechanical people. But I am talking as a ECA or electrical and instrumentation engineers. I am showing you only these things, that if there is any problem in the pump, someone has to give a solution. This electrical engineer will giving the solution. If there is a problem with the level sensor, electronics engineer. There is some problem with the control valve, instrumentation engineer. Okay. Yeah, if you are going with the conveyor belt, again we have a motor. If the motor is problem, again the electrical engineer will come into the picture. Again, proximity sensors are damaged or not working, giving the not accurate reading. You will get the electronic or instrumentation engineer. So control panel, this PLC program can be written by electrical, electronic and instrumentation. HMI, this HMI program can be done by the, again, electrical, electronic and instrumentation. Drive, this drive can be parameterization. I mean the drive should be programmed to work in this way. It is also done by the, again, these engineers, CCE, instrumentation. So when you come to the last one, packing, there you will have a compressor and pneumatic cylinders. Packing means what it will do, a compressor will compress the top cap to the bottle. Okay, pneumatic cylinders are used here because these pneumatic cylinders are pressing by the help of a pressure. That pressure is given by the compressors. So that's what I want to say, that this industrial automation is not only for only this particular domain. So initially when they they thought this is for instrumentation people, but in South India or in India, most of we don't have EAE. We don't have a EAE course. There is very less. So automatically what they have done means all the engineers can work like EC or EEE because all the people have knowledge on this product. So don't stick that this is only for EC, this is only for EEE. This is for all the engineers. When you talk about electrical or electronics or EAE, anyone can work on this field and they have more opportunities. Right now the biggest industry was after software, we can say industrial automation, IoT. You are listening that IoT industry 4.0, that too we are in corona pandemic situation. You just imagine everything want to be automated. If you just see in the few days, even the restaurants will be automated. Even automated means food, everything is done in the automated way and it will be served in the automated way because human interaction should be very less right now in the situation. So that's only automation can solve the issue. Okay, this is one of the example, guys, to understand you. We'll go to the next slide. So okay, you have learned about PLC, drive, HMI, you got some idea, but how it help you? Like we will see that. So you can work as a installation of, we'll see all the items one by one. So these are the things what we can do. Example, automation control things like PLC, drive, LVSG, display units, PAT control units, and BOM. A lot of things are there. This is regarding automation control panels. Next one is visualization, as I told you, like SCADA, HMI. Next one is process instruments like transmitter, control valves, temperature sensors, flow sensors, levels and sensors as I told you. Next one sensors. These are like contact and non-contact, like proximity sensor. I'll let you know the difference between all the temperature and normal sensors in coming sessions. Okay. In the same way, like as I told you, pneumatic components, compressor and actuator. So this is example I given you exactly about in the last slide. Okay, guys. If you see this, as per this, I have prepared this for you to understand easily. So while these components are there, these components are segregated into different parts: automation, visualization, process, sensors, and pneumatics. So when you are dealing with all the instruments, these jobs you can work. I mean, you can work as installation. What is meant by installation? The best example you can see, TV installation. So when you order the TV, you will have a TV installation guide. What is meant by TV installation? They were placing in a proper place. They were giving a proper power supply. Okay, once given a proper supply, they will switch on it and they will change the few commands or few parameters like keeping TV to AV, audio video, right? And they're connecting to the set-top box and giving you that. That is nothing but the installation. In the same way, when you are working with the PLC or HMI, so you will place the PLC in the right position in the panel. You will give the right power supply. You will connect the right inputs and right outputs. That is called installation when you come to the PLC. In the same way, when you talk about the remaining things, it will be in the same way, connecting in the proper way. Right? After that, programming. So programming is nothing but, as I told you in the TV installation, once initially what he has done, he have a right, he has searched for the right place and he installed it. Then he will do program. There is nothing but he will keep the parameters. In PLC, what you will do, you will write a program. So whenever this input is on, this output should on. Whenever this input is on, after completing 10 seconds, output should on. Or whenever this input is on, after completing 5 seconds, input should off. That is nothing but programming. We are doing same thing here also. Next one is commissioning, means as per the requirement of the customer, we are giving the product to him. As per the requirement. Example, so we will say what we will say to the TV, like to the installation person who has came for the TV installation. No, I want this. I don't want this contrast. I want this brightness. I want this one. I want that. He will as a customer, we are asking to him. Automatically, he will arrange all the features in that and he'll give to us, as per our satisfaction. In the same way, industry also required some process. Example, if he was dealing with the boiler, okay. Now what we have done in the boiler, we will have a sensor which is sensing temperature. We'll have a heater which is increasing the temperature. So he as per the industrial customer requirement, exactly at 50 degrees centigrade, the water should be maintained. As per that, what I will do in the program, I will take this temperature sensor details. So now right now the temperature is 40 degrees. That information is coming to the PLC. In the PLC, I'll write a program. If the temperature is less than 50, please switch on heater. Now heater will on. Right? This is nothing but the program. This is done as per the customer requirement. Remember, these are the jobs available when you're working with installation, programming, and commissioning. Still, a lot of opportunities are there, but still, I'm giving the most important things. After that, we have a lot like a maintenance engineer, control engineer, a lot of things are there. You'll be learning in that during the course time. Different types of automation tools exist. As I told you, PLC, SCADA, DCS, motion control, and PA. PLC is programmable logic controller, SCADA and HMI, supervisory control and data acquisition, human machine interface. DCS is distributed control system. Motion is motion control. PA is called process instruments. Lot of instruments, things will be dealing with the automation. Okay, we will be concentrating on the PLC and SCADA initially. Okay, we will be only concentrating on PLC and SCADA. So programmable logic controller is able to receive the inputs, okay, and it will update status of outputs like based on the program. But as I told you, it will take the inputs as per the program, it will execute and will give the commands to the output. So here also we'll have few languages. I mean, this PLC can be programmed in few languages: ladder, function block diagram. So, and next one is SCL, structure control language. Next one is statement list, STL. Okay, there are more predominant 4 languages are there which is used in the market. Okay, there is ladder, FBD, SCL, and STL. So ladder is a simple program that you can able to understand within minutes. Within 5 minutes you're able to program with ladder. That's not big task at all. Function block diagram, you already know that how to draw with the blocks. The only the thing you haven't seen here, I will be showing you that. And STL and STL, this is the best programming techniques which are using presently in the market. Okay, why? Because all the even the software engineers already they were want to enter into the automation array, because right now the automation array is going on. They want to enter into this area. So this STL is similar to the C language, Python. It is also very simple language. If you want, you can also program with the STL. Okay, STL is called statement list. That is in the form of a like a programming coding in the form of a statements like one by one. That is like a machine programming, we will say. So initially they used to work with ladder and STL, but right now the market is working with STL. If you are working with a ladder also, not at all a big issue. You will be a good engineer in this. But if you work with STL, you will be the future engineer, I can say. Future scope of programming language. Okay, so you can program our PLC in any one of the language. Okay, currently we are training only on ladder. If you want, I will show you in the STL in the last day, okay, how it works. But currently we will be working only with the ladder. So generally PLC manufacturers, we will see there are different companies. Okay, whatever the companies I'm showing you on the picture is only very less. I mean 5%, 10% companies. These are the most important companies: Siemens, Allen Bradley, G-Phonic, Delta, ABB, Mitsubishi, Schneider. Almost 56 brands are there all over the world. But if you want to work anywhere in the India or Asia or German, Europe countries or American countries, these things are more than enough. Siemens is completely a German product. Okay, so it's one of the best company in the Germany, which is manufacturing all the products from pin to the airplane. He was manufacturing different all the parts of it. So even Siemens is dealing with this automation products like the TF Portal and Semantic one. These are the softwares we will be talking about that. Don't worry. So Siemens is one of the company. So if you know the Siemens, you can work in Germany. Okay, and if Allen Bradley, this is completely the USA product. Okay, American product. Next one is G-Phonic, Delta. These are from the Japanese and China. Okay, and ABB, Asian one. And next one is Mitsubishi, when it is from Japan, and Schneider is from Australia. So there are different brands are there from different countries. So example, if something has been designed in AP, most of the people are using that product. When you go to Tamil Nadu, what happens? They will use their manufacturing product. If our product is very good, then only what they will do, they will try to use our product. Or if our product is very cheap, then they will use it. In the same way, Siemens is more in Germany, Allen Bradley is more in USA. But the thing is, in India, we are using all these products. That is different thing. Like what happens in India, you will have a, suppose if there is example Dr. Reddy's, which is there in Bachupalli. So there you can see Siemens product, Siemens PLCs, Allen Bradley PLCs, Mitsubishi PLCs, even Delta also. These 4 items. So we are using in India all over the India more than this, not more than these PLCs we are using. So there is one more brand, Omron. So around 10 PLCs we are using all over the India. Not more than that. Okay. Suppose if you're aware with Siemens PLCs, I mean if you know very good with the Siemens PLCs, you doesn't take much time to learn with Allen Bradley. Suppose if Siemens you are learned within 1 week, Allen Bradley it takes to you within 2 days or 1 day. You can able to learn the language, how to program, how to do settings and all the things, because everything is similar. Process is similar. Only the thing is IO tags will be changed. We will talk about that. Right? Example, see, when you are studying in intermediate, when you came to the class, you will have one ID. But what is the process you have to study? When you come to the engineering, you will have different ID. But what is the process you have to study? In the same way, when you go with the Siemens and different this Allen Bradley G-Phonic, the process is programming that was done with the ladder logic. Only the input names and output names will be different. That is also very simple. We'll see in the next coming sessions. So these are the most important brands which are using currently in the India. If you know any one of the brand, you doesn't take much time to learn other brand. Okay, that is very simple. So that is about completely about the PLC and those things. So now we will see what is visualization, what is SCADA, and what is HMI. Supervisory control and data acquisition, human machine interface. So they'll give you the best way. Like see, you can see in the picture, see, temperature is increasing, and you can see on the bar level it was showing you that. In the same way, trends you are showing in the form of waveforms. You can see the flow of the pipes. Okay, you can see the temperature is changing, level increasing and decreasing, right? The furnace is on or an off state, and the mixer is mixing, and what is the percentage of the level. So all these things you can see, right? Temperature. So this is nothing but SCADA. You can monitor in this way the total plant. You can able to monitor this plant. Not only monitor, if you want, you can also control from here itself, and you can give a command from here. Suppose assume it was in off state. You can switch on and you can make it is on. I mean, you can on the heater. Okay. Suppose somewhere what happened, assume this whatever the mixer is there, it was also not rotating. You can give a command from SCADA itself to switch on that mixer. Supervisory, it acts like a supervisor. Okay, control and data acquisition, it will control it by acquiring the data. So don't worry guys, SCADA is we'll be training you on the next week. This is only the information regarding the industrial automation. So as I told you, why industries need SCADA means this is the easiest way to monitor, modify and control, and also to save the data which whatever it is required. So advantage of SCADA is a lot of things are there, so you'll be seeing in the coming sessions. Okay, we'll directly go with the PLC programming and services generally. So as a PLC engineer, you can work as a PLC, HMS, SCADA programming, panel design. You can design the panels, you can become a panel expert, and you can also give field service. I mean, you can go to the industries and you can service each and every product. You can also work as a maintenance engineers or maintenance contract you can take when you work with when you have a knowledge with the PLC. So these things, what we can do, programming all major PLCs and program modifications you can do. HMS, SCADA screens, customization of all applications on all major manufacturers we can do. Innovative layout, fabrication, designing all control panels as per the client. Instrumentation, maintenance, expert, troubleshooting, rapid response, emergency service. The maintenance contract is nothing but preventive maintenance, calibration, service system upgrades, operator training, programming changes, remote access, emergency service, quick on-site response. And if you are still very good, you can go with the new product. And there's a lot of scope in the PLC. Those things I'm showing you if you are good with this PLC. This is only the introduction about the industrial automation. So we'll take a 5 minutes break, and what we will do means we'll start with our course. I mean, basics of PLC. We'll completely I'll get the information regarding the basics of PLC. So I'll take around 5 minutes maximum. Okay, meanwhile if you have any questions now, please put up your questions in the comment section, and we'll note down that we'll talk in the after 11:30.